silence of heaven. Every step was heavy, not just with pain, but with purpose. The nails were real, the suffering was real, but so was the love. The cross was heavy, yet he carried it anyway, because redemption was worth the wait.
Stone is set, the body is wrapped, hope seems buried with the crucified Christ. The women rest, and the world waits in silence. What was promised now feels finished. Death appears to have the final word. But heaven is not done.
My Savior, waiting the coming day, Jesus, my Lord.
The silence of heaven is not the absence of God, it is the mystery of his timing. When prayers seem unanswered and the skies feel closed, it does not mean he has abandoned you. Sometimes heaven is silent because something greater is unfolding behind the veil. Silence is not rejection, it is preparation, and when God breaks his silence, history shifts. The promise was spoken long before the storm arrived. Though circumstances shifted and silence stretched on, the promise never cracked under pressure. What God declares, time cannot erase, and what he begins, doubt cannot undo. Even when it looks delayed, even when it feels distant, the promise stands, unbroken, unshaken, awaiting its appointed hour.
Let angel ministers of God exalt. Let the trumpet of salvation sound the loud Almighty King's rise.
not in fear, but in revelation. What was buried begins to stir. What was sealed begins to shake. The ground that witnessed the suffering now announces the victory. Heaven moves, and creation responds. When God steps into the moment, foundations shift and history changes. The earth trembles again, because resurrection power is rising.
The stone is rolled away. The tomb that held despair cannot contain hope. What was thought finished is now alive. Darkness gives way to light, silence to song, and sorrow to victory. The impossible has happened, and the story of redemption begins anew. Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here. The grave is empty. The cross is not the end. Just as he said, he is risen. Death has been swallowed up in victory. Sin is defeated. The grave has lost its power. The same Spirit who raised Jesus from the dead now brings life to all who believe. Because he lives, we live also. The risen Christ stands victorious forever, the first and the last, the living one. To him be honor and glory and praise, now and for all eternity. Let every voice join the song of
He's the author and the finisher of our faith. The stone they threw away is the cornerstone today. Death has no more victory, and the grave has no more stain. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Wonderful Counselor, a mighty God is He. The everlasting Father, He's the precious Prince of Peace. He's the Word that lives forever.